Hi everybody, it is time for me to plan out the first week of August 2023, July 31st through August 6th. This is going to be the first week I'm really incorporating work back into my personal planner. And so I thought I would take it from like the very start of my weekly planning process where I get my actions loaded up and then get the week figured out. So it's not going to be a very decorative plan with me. It's going to be much more of a functional me figuring shit out plan with me, but I wanted to let you know ahead of time. So what I'm using is my makselife vertical. I have all of my appointments in my Google Calendar and all of my work stuff in Notion. And then for this planner, I'm going to use my Le Pen marker along with, I'm going with purple. I'm in a purpley place this month. So this week, whatever it is. So this is the lilac, I think. Purple mild liner, and then the hyacinth dot pen. So first and foremost, I'm going to quickly transfer all of my stuff from my August goals. That video came out, the last video on this channel, so I'll leave that linked. And some of them are stuff that's going to be on every week, these highlighted weekly actions. Others of these are going to be specific. So I guess first and foremost, I'm just going to copy over everything from the goals that I expect to do every single week. All right, so I actually wound up just copying everything over. And if you're curious about the colors I used, the highlighters are the Moxie markers and the dot pens are Zig clean color dot pens, and I will leave the colors I use that I match as well as I can to the Moxie markers in the description. Anyway, the stuff that is like monthly, or the stuff that is going to be on here every week because its habits are all highlighted. The one that's not really a daily, like these two are not daily habits, the Peloton and the walking pad. I just want to see what days I do them. Same with estimate the time blocks. But yeah, so these are all going to be on the habits every day. And then, or each week. And then some of these are just stuff that are very specific to this week, like doing the July monthlies for the makselife and the HB90. That's what you do at the end of July, and that's this week. My mother-in-law's trip, she is going to be wrapping up her trip this week, so she's on here as well. Something like 2 days off, I put that in on every week to remind myself. But then some of these are actually more targeted to this week. For example, finding out when Reverend Eric is in the pulpit. So I want to go back to First UU and see if it's going to be a good fit for me. We've already, Sunny and I've gone once and really liked it, but it was with not the main minister. We want to go when the minister is there. So I need to find out when he's going to be there so I can arrange my schedule to be there one of those days. It makes the most sense to do that at the beginning of the month because that's gives me the most opportunities to go in there, especially since I'm going to have family in town on some of those Sundays and I may not want to go in there. Anyway, another couple of things that are really specific to this week. Putting the green stock away. It's not necessarily specific to this week. However, because I'm going to have so much family in town, it just makes the most sense. This week, my mother-in-law is going to be in town, but she's leaving on Tuesday. And so my sister doesn't arrive until Monday and the following week. So I have some time, and that's just going to be, that's before school starts. That's before my father-in-law gets here, before my sister gets here. It's probably the most ideal time. Does that mean I'm going to do it? Not necessarily. As for the rest of it, Sunny needs to get their registration done for community college. They have already made progress, but they got to wrap it up. And so we're going to do that this week. And it seems like a good week to do a lunch date with them anyway. It also makes sense to have a date with Jessie since, again, there's going to be at least 2 weeks out of this month where family is going to be in town. So doing something with Jessie is important. I've got a few of my work projects that I pulled from Notion that I know I'm going to be working on this week. And other than that, the rest of this these all seem like it's a reasonable amount of actions, and a lot of them are things I was going to have to do one way or the other. So we'll move those into the weekly once I have gotten all of my obligations in, because I kind of have to work with my current schedule. All right, so here is the week, and the first thing I'm going to do is transfer all of the habits over since we already have them highlighted on here. I like to put them in the order they might get done. Although with these particular habits, except for the makselife daily and the no by being at the end of it, the rest really don't matter. Is that all of them? That's 5. Oh, plants. Just not forget those. We must keep those alive since my green stalk has basically bit the dust. I talk more about that in a newsletter that just went out and in my most recent video besides this one. Anyway, so those are in. And then the other thing I'm going to do is just put in my to-do list. So I'm not actually going to put it in right now because I don't have a lot for it at the moment. But this is basically where I put any things I know I need to get done this week, but I just don't have a good time to figure it out. They're just going to get done when they get done. So one of the things that is going to be different on this month is that I want to estimate my time blocks. If you don't know what a time block is, in the HB90 system, time blocks are half-hour blocks, a 25-minute block of work and a 5-minute break based on the Pomodoro method. Although you can imagine it however you want to, it's a way when you're estimating what you can get done for the quarter, what you can reasonably get done based on how much time things take and how much time you actually have. One of the things I always struggle with this system is getting accurate, or at least semi-accurate with the time blocks. One of the things that's been really hard for me, especially being on dialysis now, is really understanding how much time I have in a day versus how much time things take me. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to put in what my dinners are going to be down here on the bottom. I have not done a meal plan for this week yet, so I'm not going to put anything there except there's a chance I know for sure one night we're going to be out. That will go in when I do my meal plan because I'm filming this a little early. But in this upper area, I am going to put how many time blocks I have estimated for that day. And then at the end of the day, I could put, I don't even know this month. I think this week I think what I might wind up doing is dividing this in half. But I think what I'm going to do right now is just estimate at the end of figuring out my day how much time I actually have to work. And then I've been recording it in Notion, but I'm not going to worry about that in here. I don't want to overcomplicate this because I won't actually do it. So before I do anything else though, now that I've got that divided off, I can't actually estimate the time blocks until I see what my days look like. So I need to put my weather in. I'm going to start there. Well, I'm not starting there because I've already started, but you get it. Okay, I just put in weather through Thursday because it'll still shift and change before the end of the week. Now, what I've been doing is putting like my top to do for the day at the very top, but I think I am going to not do that right now because I want to see how much space I need to fit both work and personal. Some of you asked in the comments, will I have enough room? I already filled my planner up. Well, some of it's done in like frou-frou style. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, let's go check out my Google Calendar and get in all of my timed obligations for the week. Now, thankfully, my schedule is nowhere near as booked up as it was this week. This week that I'm filming this in has been kind of a nightmare for getting anything done. You can check out that Sprouted Planner video to figure it out. So first and foremost, we have dialysis, and that's going to be definitely in the morning for most of these days. So I'm going to put that in here, and I'm going to give myself a little extra room because I will be getting work done on dialysis, and I want to make a note of that. And then what I will do also is on days I know I'm taking Layla to daycare, I am going to highlight along the top. This is definitely a daycare day. Tuesday, I don't think Jessie is going to the office, so this will likely be a daycare day as well. Wednesday, Jess is going to go to the office, so it will not be a Layla daycare day. Thursday will be a Layla daycare day. Friday will be a Layla daycare day. We ever go to the office, the daycare on days we're doing dialysis and both of us are working from home just so she gets the exercise that she needs. And we're not left with a fucking squirrely ass hyphy dog in the evening when we're both exhausted. Tuesday is a morning dialysis day. And he's not going into the office on Tuesday because he's taking his mom to the airport. So I don't need to put that in. Wednesday, Jessie will be going to the office. So I am going to put a line there to make that note, and then put the arrow down to indicate that he and Layla will be gone for the majority of the day. I'll write all this in once I'm done. Thursday is daycare dialysis day. Friday, and then Sunday. Unless for some reason Reverend Eric is preaching on Sunday, and then if that's the case, we may move it to Saturday because this is a non-family visiting weekend, and so that would be a good weekend to do that. But I can always fix that later. The way I'm going to do this for dialysis is to just I will just make dots based on what I want to get done on dialysis on those days. Because on dialysis, on any given dialysis day, I have about 5 time blocks. So anything I can get done, I usually in my calendar, or in my Notion, I have a checkbox that says dialysis ? And it means that that's something I can do on dialysis. There's not everything I can do on dialysis. There are things I cannot physically do on dialysis because I can't move my arm and et cetera, but there are plenty of things I can do. And so knowing the stuff I can do on dialysis is really helpful. On Monday, I need to do some work on the calendar. And I'm not going to go, like I said, I'm not going to go into super detail here. It's just to help me with time management. I have all of this broken down in my Notion. Monday, I'm going to work on the calendar. That'll probably take me about 2 time blocks. I also need to do some content like video prep. That will also probably take 1 time block. So that leaves me 2 more. The other items I have on my list of things to get done that day are working on my QuickBooks because it's the end of the month and doing my monthly reviews. So I'm just going to put end of month stuff. And that will include my monthly reviews. That'll include my QuickBooks. So what I'll do here is put July monthly and July monthly because those are items that are included in that kind of end of month. Other than that, I don't have anything else going on Monday in terms of my schedule, but my mother-in-law will still be in town. She's going to be in town. I'm just going to put that in here to make a note of that. She will be in town through Tuesday. And so chances are I'm not going to have a ton of time to work, but there is a lot of work I need to get done. I think this is going to be a good day to figure out if Reverend Eric is in the pulpit. I guess what we'll do is we'll put in work because that is going to be something I'm going to be doing whether or not we're hanging out with my mother-in-law. Maybe Jessie and my mother-in-law will go do something together, but I have so much work to do that I can't take the whole time off. Jess never takes time off, so he has tons of PTO stacked up. I work for myself. PTO is not really a thing. Okay, work. And so under this, I'm going to put in the things that need to get done on Monday. Because I have 5 hours on 5 time blocks on dialysis, and then after my lunch, we can say usually around 10-ish time blocks on a normal day. And so we'll say that, so 10 time blocks for Monday. So that would be 15 total time blocks on Monday. Basically, what I want to do is get some stuff for Instagram done, which will be about 1 time block. Some admin stuff, which will be about 1 more time block. And then we're going to work on Chrissy Ann Designs, which means I've got what? If I have 5, 6, 7 minus 15 is 8. So if I divide that in half, that's 4, which gives me about 4 sections. So I have it kind of divided up into 2 time blocks worth of stuff at a time. So each task in my Notion is 2 time blocks worth. So I'll put 4 of those, and I will fill those in when I get closer to this, because it all depends on what I get done this week. So that gives me my work day figured out. Then after my work day is over, we might go out to dinner with my mother-in-law because it's her last night with us, and that would save me from having to cook. As a matter of fact, well, do we want to though? I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do for dinner last night, but I definitely know that dinner with my mother-in-law is going to be the evening. So I don't imagine I'm going to have much time in between wrapping up work and doing much else. So what I will do is put another box here to kind of represent another chunk of time for dinner with my mother-in-law. And then below that, I'm just gonna make my personal to-do list of anything that I have to do that day. Not that I'm gonna have a ton of time for it, but this is my personal planner. I do need to make sure I have room for that because otherwise I'll lose my shit. I always need a place to scribble in my personal to-dos. So what I'll do here is I'll just put some dots in for those. I know already the Reverend Eric thing is definitely gonna go on here. Reverend Eric, question mark. Is there anything else off of my actions that need to go on here? I don't have anything else from my personal list for today, for Monday. My hope, because I'm pretty sure Jesse is taking this Monday off to hang out with his mom. My hope is they do something together and I can just get a bunch of work done because I'll be spending time with them all weekend. So personal items this day will likely be little things like, you know, running a little laundry or whatever, but I won't know until we get there to the day of. I usually fill my to-do list out in my planner the day of anyway. Okay, Tuesday. I do have a few things on the calendar after dialysis. So first and foremost, my mother-in-law is flying back. Now I am not driving her, my husband is, but I do want to make a note of it on here that she is flying back to New York on Tuesday. This may actually wind up being an off day for me because there's a lot going on. RJ has his check-in window at his high school where he has to go and do all of his like paperwork and shit. So I'm gonna put that here because I have to drop him off and be on the alert for him. So I don't know how much I'm gonna actually be able to get done. Tuesday evening, Jess and I are going to a baseball game, to the Colorado Rockies. His work partners with the Rockies and they're doing an event. It's going to be in a suite and I'm not going to miss that if I can help it. Normally on Tuesdays I have a Patreon Live, but I did move it so that I could be able to go to this game. I'm not going to put the exact times on there yet because I don't know what the exact times are. I do need to put times on here though. So I think that'll count as a date with Jesse. So what I will do here then is just put a personal to-do list. Anything that needs to go on that will go here. And I'm not going to try and put any work during the non-dialysis time because I just don't think I'm going to have time for it. Even if I have a little window between like the RJ shit and the Rockies game, I can probably get some personal things done. However, it obviously is going to be too hard to try and squeeze work in, and I don't want to stress myself out. So we're going to give myself 5 time blocks for dialysis. One thing I need to do that's going to take about half an hour is I have a deadline that day, and that's about 1 time block. And then I am going to wrap up a little Instagram stuff. So that will be another time block, which leaves me 3, and we'll just use that to work on Chrissy Ann designs. So this will definitely be an out night for dinner because Jess and I will be, I'm hoping to get me, one of the reasons I want to go to this isn't even because I want to see baseball, it's because I want to have baseball stadium nachos. It's one of my favorite trashy foods of all time. And I should probably put that on here too, RJ check-in. That's not the right purple. I'm gonna fuck all my shit up. Also not gonna put in the brand plus brand like course stuff. I just fit that in where I can. So we're just gonna say 1 day off. Even though if I'm working on dialysis, that's still basically a day off because I don't count working on dialysis as like a work day because what else am I gonna fucking do? Sit there and play Angry Birds and watch The Righteous Gemstones? I do that too. Don't worry about it. Okay, so Wednesday, I have 1 appointment, and that is to get my nails done. And normally I get my nails done every 3 weeks. This is about a week early, but I've got some things going on the following week where I want my nails to be fresh and not grown out. So I made my appointment early. So I'm just gonna put that smack in the middle of the day. And that will be a couple hours because the time it takes to do my nails plus the time it takes to drive there and back again. So other than that, my day is fairly open. Jess and Layla will be at the office. Wednesdays are the day I try to fit in as much work as possible because I have 2 days I don't do dialysis during the week. One is Wednesdays and one is Saturdays. And on Saturdays I don't work. And so Saturday is my day to fit in as much life as possible. Wednesdays are my day to fit in as much work as possible. So on a Wednesday, I'm gonna estimate about 13 time blocks. So I'm gonna take a look at my Notion because I got a lot on there. I have a lot that I do on Wednesdays. Now, if I'm getting my nails done, I'm gonna wanna film after I get back from getting my nails done, because then I'll have the fresh nails, and that's always nice. So definitely I'm gonna have 2 videos to film. So I'm just gonna put film. Like, I'm not gonna put work, general work on here, because the whole day, except for the evening, is general work. And I know Jesse's probably not even gonna be home at a regular time because he's gonna have been off for a few days to hang out with his mom. So I have 2 videos to film. Post nails, that usually runs me, for both of those 2 videos that I've got, usually runs me about 4 time blocks. I should probably keep like a running total as I plan this. So you got 4 there, and this the total of, actually, you know what? What did I say, 13 time blocks? So minus 4 equals 9. This leaves me 1 time block, 2 time blocks after the nails based on how I calculated it. So, and then that means that 6. So that would be 7 time blocks in the morning. So we'll go there first before I try and work on anything else. I've got content stuff to work on. Instagram, whoops, wrong purple. Instagram stuff, newsletter stuff. That would be 1 time block and 2 time blocks for the newsletter, so that's 3. So that leaves 7. And now we'll say if there are 7 beforehand, then that's 4 left beforehand. And here there's 2 left after, before, after. I understand what I'm writing on this card, even if nobody else does. So that leaves 4 left on this end. And once I have done the prep stuff, I will be doing Chrissy-Anne designs. So 4 is 2 more for Chrissy-Anne designs. And then down here, the other time block will be, I don't even have to think about it because it's gonna be my Patreon Live. That takes about an hour, half an hour to stream, and then half an hour split up on either end to prep it. That should take me about to when Jesse gets home from work. So as for the evening, we're not gonna have any plans. I'm probably gonna be wiped out. I already know some of the personal items on the list. I can already tell you one thing I'm gonna be doing, since I won't be doing it on Tuesday because of the game. Actually, that's not true. I just realized what I'm gonna be doing on Tuesday with any time I have in between RJ and going to the game. One thing is going to be guest room sheets. And then one thing I'll do on Wednesday when everything is washed is reset guest room and then clean out the fridge. Other than that, I'm not putting any fucking thing else on Wednesday because it's obviously gonna be pretty fucking full. Talking through all of this is pretty intense. Let me know if you like Plan With Me's where it's more analytical like this. Okay, so Thursday, I'm gonna have my 5 hours on dialysis, but I don't have any appointments. Thank God, because I'm gonna have some more work I need to catch up on. So we're gonna give this another 15-hour day. Is that right? How can that be right? Wait a minute. 18 minus... No, this is right. This is right. So 5 hours, or 5 hours, that's maybe what messed me up. It's five time blocks, so it's 2.5 hours of work on dialysis, and then on the rest of the day, I should have another, 10 time blocks worth of work. So I'm gonna say another 15 estimate, since I don't have anything real on the schedule for Thursday. And on dialysis, I already know what I'll be doing. I'll be editing 2 videos, the 2 that I filmed on Wednesday. That's become very much a habit for me. And that usually takes up the entire time. When I'm done with that, I'm usually done with wanting to work. I'm like, fuck this, if I have any time left on dialysis. So we'll leave that there. After dialysis, we'll do another one of these work days. And on my list for Thursday is fairly basic. There's one thing I want to get done, and that is specifically, and that is to revise, take a look at my content calendar. I do that at the beginning. I plan pretty far in advance of ideas, and then every month or so I go and I update it, and I still will make changes. It's not set in stone, but this is about the time I'll want to take a look at that. Other than that, so if that gives me the 5 on dialysis and another half an hour on the content calendar, that's 6. That leaves me 9 time blocks left. The other big thing I want to work on Thursday is the calendar, get it ready to send off. So The calendar is gonna go on here to order my sample. Get to the point of ordering my sample. That will likely be, let's say 5 time blocks. It's gonna be a big chunk of time. So if we have 5 time blocks for dialysis, 5 time blocks for the calendar, and then an additional 1 for the content calendar, that's 11 time blocks, which leaves me 4, which leaves me room for 2 Chrissy Ann Designs sections. And then the one thing I want to make sure is getting done that day, even if I'm not working on it, is check in with Sunny's registration. So I'm gonna just put that on here as like a thing to do, kind of not in a, like I'll still be working all day, but I'll also like take a few minutes to go chat with them about it. And then I'm just gonna put in personal for any to-do list items. My God, my lettering is getting all sorts of wonky. And I already know one thing right off the top is it's trash and recycling that day. And then I'll just put in ... for any other to-dos for that particular day. Next is Friday. Friday, I've got my 5 hours on dialysis. We don't have anything going on that day, but our contractor is actually going to be here to work on the siding of the house. I did not put that on my actions because I didn't realize, I hadn't looked at the calendar. Jesse's the one who put it on there and I just hadn't noticed it. So I'm gonna, siding, question mark, which is good. That actually makes me really happy if he is gonna get here and get that done. I thought he was coming in a couple weeks from now. So that's just good to know. Good to know. But otherwise, there's nothing else going on here. So 15 would be my usual amount, but I am going to take out 3 time blocks and go out to lunch with Sunny on Friday. So we're gonna say 13. Let's bring it down to an even 12, just in case, 12. So the 5 on dialysis, and then after dialysis, we'll just go to lunch and then I'll work afterwards. So I'll put here, Sunny and I owe Sunny lunch. We have been talking about going out for like a month and just it has not worked out. So, not that I owe them lunch. You know what I mean. Which is one of my actions. I'm gonna say 1 p.m. because that's usually about when I'm ready to walk away from dialysis. Sunny Reg, Sunny lunch date. Cool. And the nobody's already on there. And these are already on there. I'm not putting the iron on there yet because until we get it from the mail order pharmacy, I don't know when we're gonna have it. So whenever we get it, it's once a week on dialysis. I'll put it in the calendar as soon as I get my hands on it and I know when we can do it. So on dialysis, in my the rest of this is work, and so that'll leave me, after the 5, it'll leave me 7 hours of work time, which needs to majority be Chrissy Ann Designs work. I do have, yeah, so on dialysis, I'll be working on Chrissy Ann Designs for probably for the entire time I'm on there. And I'll put 2, because even though it's 5 hours, I work slower when I'm working on dialysis when it comes to hand lettering, but that'll be the whole time. And then otherwise, I do have some prep I need to do for an upcoming workshop. That'll be about 1 time block. So if we take off 5 here, that leaves me with 7, so 6. That gives me room for 3 more Chrissy Ann Designs sections. And if you're like, so many sections, yeah, I know. So that gives me work. And then I'm gonna leave the evening blank because it's Friday evening and fuck that. I guess I'm not even gonna put my personal to-do list on there. I'm just gonna leave it blank because chances are I'm gonna be wiped out. Except I do know one thing I'm gonna have to do, so I'll put down here at the bottom. I do need to make out my meal plan and grocery list. So I'll just put that down there at the bottom. But other than that, I'm not gonna overstimulate myself on Friday. Saturday, I'm not doing any work, so we're gonna do a 0. There may be a point where I have to work on Saturday to get this wrapped up. When I do big freelance jobs like for Kristen, I do sometimes work on Saturdays to finish wrapping it up, but at this point I don't think I should have to. And I am going to currently leave it a little bit. Oh, also I should put up here C, payday, and J, payday. So Saturday is gonna be a grocery shopping day for sure, because my sister's coming the next week, so I'm definitely gonna need to pick up food. So I'm gonna do that, just a nice big box, because that usually takes up a good chunk. Whether we go to the farmer's market or not, I don't know. I'll just put in my dots, TJ's, King Soopers, and Costco. I think this is going to be a Costco week. I'm pretty sure because it's been a couple weeks and I need to go at least every 2 weeks to replenish paper goods and such. Dog things, you know, the usual. We'll put chores because we do a lot of chores on Saturdays. It's our big day for, you know, getting the house taken care of. Now, I will say, when I put shit on here on Saturdays, it's not usually in any particular order. It gets done when it gets done. Like if we decide to take Layla to the dog, like the dog creek on, which I think is on my goals. Is it on my goals for this month? No, but if we do that, then it'll probably be in the morning. So this will all get moved around. But I know I'm gonna wash sheets on Saturday. I want to give the background a little cleanup on Saturday. I'm not sure what else is going to go on here. I'm just going to leave the rest of this blank and figure Saturday out when I get there, which is what I prefer to do. Now, Sunday, on the other hand, I will be working because I usually work. I have nothing else on Sunday except for a patron hangout, which is at 2:30. Now, usually what happens is I do dialysis, get off of it, eat some lunch, and then do my hangout. Sometimes I do my hangout on dialysis. My hangout is two time blocks, usually. 2 time blocks for the hangout, 5 time blocks for the for my dialysis, and I don't want to work all day, so I'm just gonna give myself another 4 time blocks. Oh no, I'm gonna give myself 2 time blocks post hangout, I think, just to do 1, maybe 2 Chrissy-Anne designs. We'll give myself that. So I'm just gonna say 2, 5, 7. So we'll go 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 11. We'll say 11 time blocks on Sunday. It's about an estimate. I can give myself more if I need to, but it allows me to get some rest. Do you know what I'm saying? But on dialysis that day, I have a lot of things I do on Sundays. I have to do my weekly reviews. And that's about 1 time block worth of time to do those. I need to schedule the next week, which is another time block. And then if I'm up to it, I'll do another set of Chrissy-Anne designs. But if I'm not, I'll just play video games. Usually on Sundays, I might play it by ear depending on how I'm feeling. But again, I'm gonna leave the rest of Sunday blank because I don't know how the rest of it's gonna go. I've got all of the other things in here, except for putting the green stock away. That'll probably, you know what? No, that's gonna happen on Saturday. I'm just gonna give myself another block. I'm not gonna time block it, but that'll likely take a couple hours. Yeah, but other than that, all of my shit is on for the week. I don't have anything off of my actions to put on the to-do list except for the iron. Just put a question mark there until I figure that shit out. But generally speaking, this is gonna be my week with work in it. So I'm not sure how this is gonna work with stickers. Honestly, like this is a lot on here. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Once I'm done, I'll probably do a couple weeks of pen only, and then I'll try stickering. In the meantime, let me know in the comments what you've got going on this next week. I'd love to hear about it. And also, do you do personal and work planning in the same place, or do you do them in different places? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, friends, peace.